What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a wonderful Easter weekend. This video is going to be a little bit different. I've got Donovan with me, and I'm out here at the French Broad Baptist Church. This is a very historic church. Been here since the Civil War days, I believe. And Tom Pepin TV was telling me a story. And this wall here, this levee, if you will, the wife of the pastor that ran this church, when the TVA started building Douglas Dam so they could create Douglas Lake here out of the French Broad River, she was worried about the rising waters, and so she actually was friends with the president at the time's wife, and they contacted with one another, and she petitioned the president to build this levee to protect this church. And he actually did it, and the soldiers and a bunch of other volunteers built this wall, and they saved this historic church from any kind of flooding, which is a pretty cool story. So I'm going to see if there's some signage around that I can read to get some more accurate information other than what I'm remembering from a story that my friend told me. Alright, so here's a sign, and I'm going to read this. The Battle of Hayes Ferry, fighting for food. In November of 1863, the Confederate General James Longstreet led the forces from Chattanooga to attack the Union General Ambrose E. Burnside's army in Knoxville. The campaign failed, and in December, Longstreet's men marched east along the East Tennessee and Virginia Railroad to winter quarters at Russellville, where they remained until March 1864. Numerous small engagements between Longstreet's and Burnside's armies occurred during the winter. Hayes Ferry once operated near here. The landscape you see now was quite different during the Civil War. Then fields of corn grew along the banks of the French Broad River. Now submerged beneath the waters of Douglas Lake, this corn left on the stalks was often all that stood between Confederate soldiers in East Tennessee and starvation during the winter of 1863. On the cold morning of December 24th, hungry men from both sides began a battle near here that ended hours later 3 miles away. Union Colonel Archibald P. Campbell was dispatched with his cavalry brigade to Dandridge with orders to clear out the Confederate foraging parties in the area. On Christmas Eve, the two opposing forces met at Hayes Ferry, and the fight was on. The struggle raged for much of the day, with both sides sustaining numerous casualties. The Confederate cavalry, more aggressive in its tactics, pushed the Union troopers from one position to another. Colonel Charles C. Cruz's Georgians captured 2 Federal guns, but the Union horsemen countercharged and recaptured them. Attacked front and rear, the Federals retreated toward Newmarket as night approached, leaving the river bottoms and its corn still in Confederate hands. The clash at Hayes Ferry was one of several fought in Jefferson County, where food was the ultimate prize. This was a sad Christmas Eve to us, and as we gathered around the campfires to discuss the events of the day, many an unbidden tear could be seen trickling down the tanned faces of the men when reference was made to those who had fallen in battle during the day. And that was a quote from Sergeant William R. Carter, 1st Tennessee Cavalry.